Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about Prince Pipes and Fittings Limited.
PPFL.
PPFL, yeah, for short.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at their Q2 financial results for fiscal year 2025.
All right.
You sent over a ton of great stuff, their official, reports and press releases and even their investor presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some really insightful questions. So we've got all that here ready to go.
Yeah, should be a good deep dive.
Yeah, I think so. I think it will be.
They're a pretty major player in the Indian pipes and fittings market.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just like the traditional plumbing scene either.
No, they're branching out into a lot of different areas. So everything from like sewage and agriculture.
Yep.
And they've got a strong commitment to sustainability.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's give everyone that performance snapshot first. How do they actually do this quarter?
Well, so if we look at their statement of unaudited financial results, their revenue came in at $6,220.66 million, and that's down a bit from the same quarter last year when it was $6,564.53 million.
Okay.
But here's what's interesting. Their finished goods volume actually went up.
So they shipped out more product, but brought in less revenue.
Exactly. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's a great question. Their EBITDA landed at $46 million.
Okay.
And that's a pretty sharp drop from the previous year's Q2, which was $94 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can see their margin shrank to 7.4%.
Okay. And what about their profit after tax?
So the PIT for Q2 FY25 was $15 million. Okay. Compared to $71 million the year before.
Big difference.
Yeah, but you have to remember last year's PIT included a one-time gain of $17.93 million. And that was from the settlement they got related to the registration of their corporate office in Mumbai.
Okay, so that explains some of it.
Yeah.
There's still a pretty noticeable decline. Okay. So what else is going on? What's driving these numbers?
Well, if we look at their statement of unaudited financial results, again,
we can see that raw material costs were relatively stable.
Mm-hmm.
But, employee benefit expenses jumped up quite a bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And other expenses also went up.
Okay, so are they like tightening their belts? Or is there something else going on?
Well, it doesn't seem like cost cutting exactly.
Right.
It seems more like strategic investments.
Okay.
And remember, we're talking about a company that's known for being pretty forward-thinking.
Right.
They've got some really ambitious projects going on.
Okay.
And these investments, it takes time to see those reflected in the financials.
So they're playing the long game.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you give us some details about these strategic moves?
For sure. Let's start with Aquel by Prince.
Okay.
This is their big move into the modern plumbing and bathware market.
Okay, yeah. Those sleek modern bathrooms are super popular these days.
Yeah, exactly. And they're really going for it with this.
Okay.
They've launched retail showrooms in Haryana and New Delhi.
Wow.
They even have a dedicated website. It's www.aquelbathware.com.
So they're really catering to those consumers who want that contemporary look.
Definitely.
What else are they doing?
Well, this might really resonate with you, their Prince Parivartan program.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
So this really shows their commitment to social responsibility.
Okay.
It's all about empowering plumbers with new skills and giving them health benefits.
So it's like investing in their workforce.
Yeah, exactly. And just in Q2 alone, they trained 1,848 plumbers.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and they organized 17 health camps for plumbers and their families.
That's great.
Yeah, not just good business, it's good for the community.
Yeah, for sure. It really shows they care about their people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. They're building a new manufacturing facility in Begusarai, Bihar.
Okay, why? Were they just increasing production capacity?
It's more than that. This facility is all about tapping into the growth potential of East India.
Oh, smart. So they're expanding strategically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they're making all these investments, which explains the dip in profits. But it sounds like they're setting themselves up for a strong future.
Exactly. They're taking calculated risks and making big moves.
Okay, so let's move into an area that I know is really important to you. Sustainability.
Yeah.
Seems like PPFL is really passionate about this, not just paying lip service.
You're right. They're not just talking the talk. They're walking the walk.
So give me the details. What are they doing?
Well, over 22% of their total energy in Q1 FY25 came from renewable sources.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, and they're doing even more to reduce their environmental impact.
Like what?
Their investor presentation highlights a whole bunch of things. They're reducing greenhouse gas emissions, using green energy across their factories, and they're doing these energy audits
to
minimize their carbon footprint. And get this, since FY17, they've slashed their carbon emissions by 33.85%.
Wow, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, they're serious about this.
And their sustainability isn't just environment. Remember that Prince Pair of Arton program we talked about?
Right.
That's a big social impact, too.
Yeah, they're empowering communities and fostering a skilled workforce.
And they even sponsored a plumber training program specifically for women plumbers.
Yeah, exactly.
So their Q2 financials might show a dip, but it's important to look at the big picture.
Absolutely.
They're making progress in sustainability and social impact.
Mm-hmm.
And in the long run, that's going to build a stronger brand reputation.
Yeah, and it's going to attract those consumers who really care about those things.
For sure.
Yeah.
A really smart strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've looked at their financials, their strategic initiatives, and their commitment to sustainability.
Yep.
But what does this all mean for our listeners? What should they be taking away from all of this?
Well, even with that slight dip in revenue, PPFL is making some bold moves that show they're really thinking long-term.
Okay.
They're investing in new markets, upskilling their workforce, and prioritizing sustainability.
Yeah, and they're sticking to their mission of innovating in the piping industry.
Exactly.
It's like they're not content with just being part of the industry. They want to shape its future.
Yeah, they're anticipating trends and positioning themselves to be leaders.
Okay, so before we move on to their overall growth strategy,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at that Aquil expansion into modern plumbing.
Yeah.
It seems like a really key part of their plan.
It definitely is. And remember, they just got that Great Place to Work certification.
Oh, that's right. So what could that mean for their growth strategy, especially in such a competitive market?
It could be a really smart move to attract and keep top talent in the industry.
Makes sense. Especially in a market that's driven by innovation and design.
Yeah.
A talented and motivated workforce is essential.
Exactly. And when you have a company that's known for being a great place to work
Yeah.
and is also forward-thinking, it's going to be a draw for the best people.
So it sounds like they're building a strong foundation, both internally with their company culture and externally with their products. All right, so let's move on to their broader growth strategy
Okay.
and their financial performance. How are they planning to navigate the market and achieve their goals?
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
Okay, so we've talked about Aquil and that Great Place to Work certification.
Right.
But they've got a pretty big product portfolio too, right?
Oh, yeah. Huge. It's like everything pipes and fittings.
Really?
Yeah, you're talking solutions for plumbing, sewage agriculture, even cable protection.
Wow, they really cover it all.
Yeah, they do. And they're not just sticking with the basics either. They're always innovating and expanding their offerings.
I was reading about their Prince Harriton drainage systems. What are those all about?
Oh, yeah. So they partnered with this German company, Harriton.
Okay.
And they've been a leader in drainage systems for like over 65 years.
Wow.
So they're tapping into some serious expertise there.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and these systems are designed for all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like car parks, airports, gardens, sports facilities, even noise-insulated ones for places like luxury homes and hospitals.
So they're bringing German engineering to the Indian market.
Pretty much.
And they're targeting a ton of different customers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really smart growth strategy.
It shows they're not just about basic piping. They're thinking about specialized needs and branching out.
It all connects back to that Aquil acquisition too.
Right.
They're not just buying brands randomly.
No, it's all very strategic.
Yeah, they're tapping into these high-growth markets.
Exactly. And they're not starting from scratch with Aquil either.
Right.
They got an established brand, a great manufacturing facility, and a distribution network that's already set up.
So they're hitting the ground running.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they can use that Aquil brand to get bigger in the plumbing and bathware market, too.
It's like a fast track to growth.
Yeah, you could say that.
And they've got the manufacturing power to back it up.
Oh, for sure. They have 7 facilities across India.
Wow.
Yeah, which means they can serve a huge market.
Yeah.
And remember that new facility in Begusarai?
Yeah.
That's going to boost their production capacity even more.
They're really thinking ahead.
Yeah, they're anticipating future growth.
Yeah.
And making sure they can handle it.
And they're doing all of this while staying committed to sustainability.
It's pretty impressive. They really care about making a positive impact.
It's great to see a company proving that you can be profitable and sustainable at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Okay, so let's dive into their financial performance a little deeper now.
Okay.
You've got all the numbers in front of you.
Yeah, so their investor presentation shows their financials over the past few years.
Okay.
And their revenue from operations has been growing steadily.
Yeah.
It reached $2,569 million in fiscal year 2024.
Okay, and then we saw that dip in Q2 FY25.
Right.
But we talked about why that happened.
Yeah, those investments and the one-time gain from last year.
Right. It's important to look at the big picture.
Absolutely. Not just one quarter.
Over time, their EBITDA and PAT have been trending upwards too. They're managing costs well and making profits.
Yeah, and they're keeping an eye on their debt levels and those financial ratios.
Which ones are they focused on?
ROCE and ROE.
And what do those stand for again?
Return on capital employed and return on equity.
Okay.
These are really important for investors to see how profitable and efficient a company is.
So they're focused on sustainable, profitable growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what investors want to see.
So looking ahead, what's their plan for navigating the market?
Well, their investor presentation lays out a few key things.
Well, okay.
They want to expand their product offerings and their distribution network.
Makes sense. Reach more customers.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're really focused on operational efficiency.
Oh.
They're always looking for ways to streamline processes, reduce costs, and just be more efficient overall.
So they're not just sitting back and relaxing.
Nope. They're trying to stay ahead of the game.
And how are they doing that?
Innovation. They're always trying to come up with new products and solutions to meet those changing customer needs.
And they're keeping a close eye on their financials too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Making sure those margins are healthy and they're generating good returns for their investors.
So they might have had a little hiccup in Q2, but it seems like they're built for the long haul.
Yeah, they're making smart moves, investing wisely, and staying true to their values.
They're not just reacting to the market. They're anticipating changes and positioning themselves to do well.
Exactly.
It's really impressive.
Their commitment to sustainability, taking care of their employees, making strategic investments.
It all shows they're ready for whatever comes next.
They're building a legacy, not just a business.
And that's a powerful story.
It is. It really makes you think about the future of the industry.
Yeah. How is their approach going to affect the competition?
Right. And will their focus on sustainability influence other companies?
Those are great questions to think about.
It'll be interesting to see what PPFL does in the coming years.
We've covered a lot today.
We have. Their financials, their strategy, their sustainability, their products.
We really got a good look at their operations, their challenges, and their opportunities.
And what it all means for investors and anyone interested in the company.
So as you continue to follow PPFL, remember what we've talked about. Look beyond the headlines. Think about the long-term trends and pay attention to the things that really matter.
The things that drive real success.
Keep those insights in mind as you watch this company grow and change.
It's a dynamic industry.
It is. And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Until next time.
Okay, so we've talked about PPFL's growth, their sustainability, all that good stuff. But now let's talk about what might be on everyone's mind.
Okay.
Is PPFL a company worth watching? Should people be excited about their future?
Well, it's not a simple yes or no answer.
Right.
There's a lot to consider. We've been digging into all that in this deep dive.
Exactly. We've looked at their financials, their strategy, their sustainability efforts, even their work environment.
It's all part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, you can't just look at one piece of it.
Exactly. Got to see how it all fits together.
So let's do that. What's the big takeaway here? What does PPFL's story tell us about their potential?
Well, I think they're doing a lot of things right. They're not just riding the wave, they're shaping their own future.
Yeah.
They're investing in new markets, they're expanding their products, and they're really on top of things when it comes to sustainability and social responsibility.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing everything that investors and consumers are looking for these days.
Right. They're not just playing the game, they're changing the rules.
But every company has its risks and challenges.
For sure.
What are some things that people should be watching as PPFL moves forward?
That's a great question. Well, we talked about their expansion into new markets like East India.
Yeah.
With that new facility. That's a big move, but it comes with risks. They have to deal with new regulations, understand the local market, and build relationships with new people.
It's like uncharted territory.
Yeah, exactly. And there will be obstacles for sure. And we can't forget about the competition either.
Right.
The piping industry is packed with companies, and new ones are popping up all the time.
So they have to stay on top of things.
Yeah, they have to be agile, innovative, and really focus on their customers to stay competitive.
It's a constant challenge for any company.
It is. What about their financials? We talked about that dip in Q2.
Yeah.
How should we think about that with their growth strategy?
Yeah. Is that a big concern?
Well, it's normal to see ups and downs, especially when a company is investing a lot for the future. Investors need to look at the long term, not just one quarter. Are they handling their debt well? Are their investments making money? Are their margins sustainable?
It's about seeing the forest, not just the trees.
Exactly. And understanding that growth sometimes means spending money up front.
Right. You might have to give up some profit now to get bigger profits later.
Exactly. So as we finish up this deep dive into PPFL, what's the key message for our listeners?
What should they be thinking about?
I'd say PPFL is a company with a great story. They're ambitious, innovative, and they're trying to do things the right way. But like any investment, there are risks. The important thing is to stay informed, do your research, and make decisions based on a real understanding of the company and the industry.
Don't just react to the news.
Right. Be an informed investor. Look deeper, understand the basics, and make choices that work for you and your goals.
That's great advice. Well, it's been really interesting exploring PPFL.
It has. They're a company that's really pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, they are. And thanks to everyone for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you learned something new about this company.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. We'll see you next time.
See you then.